You've probably heard this advice before, just buy the big names and hold on. But if you're near retirement, that strategy could quietly gut your portfolio when it matters most. Because when the market dips and your income depends on it, those so called winners could turn into a massive liability. And this video is going to show you why chasing top performing stocks, particularly in retirement, can silently increase your risk and what to do instead. So you avoid those painful losses, protect your freedom, and stop following strategies that were never built for your stage of life. Okay, so this is a great resource from my friends at Dimensional Fund Advisors. It's entitled Think Twice About Chasing the Biggest Stocks. Well, what is this showing? This is showing the average annualized outperformance. So get these. There's these stocks on the market that have a tremendous run up, right? Pick 7 stocks. You'll probably pick 7 stocks that have had a tremendous recent run up. So it says, okay, what's the average annualized outperformance of companies before and after the first year that they became one of the 10 largest in US history? And this is compared to the S&P 500. So this is saying of stocks that become the top 10 companies by size in the world, compared to the S&P 500, what's their average annualized outperformance? Well, 10 years before they achieve this first year in the top 10, their average outperformance is 12%. My goodness. 5 years before they're in the top 10, they outperform by average annualized over 20%. And 3 years before they're in the top 10, they outperform by over 27% compared to, again, the S&P. Wouldn't it be nice to know who these names were before they had these run-ups? But unfortunately, the truth is, most of the time, it's right about here that these names, if this is a timeline, right, from before they were top 10 to after their top 10, most of the times people start to get interested right here. But then what do we see, again, compared to the S&P in the years that follow their meteoric rise into the top 10? Well, 3 years afterwards, we see relatively similar performance to the index, 0.3% outperformance on average. But then 5 years after, we see them underperforming the index by just under 2%. And 10 years after, we see them on average per year underperforming the index, this minus 1.8 compared to minus 1.7 5 years before. So what's the lesson here? Again, this goes from 1927 through 2024. These stocks that have massive run-ups and get massive attention tend to, believe it or not, underperform their actual index in the years that follow the massive run-up. The mistake that I see so many people make is they're chasing past performance. Who are the biggest, safest, best names in the space? Well, that's fine, but the reality is these top 10, once they reach the summit, it becomes hard to maintain that level of outperformance. And in fact, they tend to underperform over time. You're in or near retirement, likely, if you're watching this. The reality is you need a mix designed, an investment approach designed for taking income and designed for consistency. And frankly, chasing top performers, in my view, has no place in a retiree's portfolio. In fact, this dynamic we're talking at here gets at question 11 on my free retirement readiness score quiz, which asks, is your investment mix designed for taking income in retirement? So there's a link in the description. You can take it. No email required. You'll see your score out of 100, see your strengths, see your weaknesses. But guys, this is a really critical idea to understand. The reality is these top performers tend to underperform. So load up on what's done well recently. Well, there's a hidden trap in that approach. So we just looked at the danger of chasing top performing stocks, but sound investing is really only one part of the picture in retirement. So I'd encourage you, watch this next video where I walk through a real $1.2 million case study showing how smart timing on Roth conversions could potentially lower your tax bill and leave you with significantly more in your retirement. We'll catch you in the next one.